This is an askSlim trade idea video walkthrough for a short-term short in Meta. As I've been highlighting for the past few weeks here, Meta has been showing very clear relative weakness, and the RS is now just curling down. Now, given that this is happening, given that we have now a fresh low versus that old low right there, the opportunity is there if Meta wants to get one more flush to the downside prior to forming the low. Let's go ahead and look at the daily chart. Okay, so you can see this is what I'm looking at. This is where I started to highlight right around here that Meta was clearly now failing versus the 78.6, and you can see from that point how has it acted, especially relative to the market, right? This has been such a hot time period for AI. Like literally everything that is mentioning AI or is at all linked to AI or something that is linked to data centers, like the whole Bloom Energy, Plug Power, all of these things, just absolutely on fire. And this name, in spite of having obviously a fairly meaningful footprint in the AI space, is lagging. So that's very important to observe. I don't really highlight news all that often, but this is more of that overall awareness about what's happening in Meta's stock price given its group that it's in. This is in a really hot group and it's acting super weak. That is something that we have to really be aware of. I think that's all I really need to say there. You can see that clear lower high in terms of the overall structure on that move, right? This is the lower high. So again, on this day here, this would be the first opportunity. So what I do here is for opportunity sets that I like, I will put those arrows, right? This was one, this is another. Where is my, so this is one, this is another right here, and then we have this one right here on the failure on the lower high. I'm just trying to highlight this again to help us to get that pattern recognition in our brains. You can see that the RS has now turned down, Slim Ribbon has also turned down, but look at the way it is traded, right? This is very controlled selling that is really breaking the uptrend that was in place here, that has been in place. This is really breaking. This is our first lower low in quite some time, right? Since this trough, we have not seen a single cycle trough that has been lower than the previous one. Now this is happening. So what's happening right now is that we're forming this bear flag here, and there are, I would say overall, very high odds that it fails and moves back down into a new low. So 610.30, again, I went a little bit above it to 696.20 is the target zone. Let me put in the annotation for what that is because you may be wondering. Cycle low, cycle high, cycle low. That's a 127.2 fib extension. So let's draw that in. Okay, and in terms of the areas on the upside, use this little bit of a lower high right there that would show up on the 2-hour to get the levels. Again, just giving you an area. This is not any kind of exact science here in terms of the actual favorable zone, and just really watching that 2-hour to form a bear flag and for it to curl down. Does it actually get into that zone? I don't know. We'll have to just watch and see. If it moves through, what this area is, it is where the falling 21 on the 2-hour is. If it moves through that area, that would be short-term bullish. So that's why that is my area that says I'm wrong on this setup. So that is more of an area that is set in stone for me. The actual favorable really isn't. I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. But in any event, that's about 1250 of risk. So very, very small risk. This is either going to work or it's not going to work. So risk 1250, and I'm looking for a move of right around 20 points down to as much as 33. I think this down move into that 696 area is certainly possible if we see a turn in the market. Is that going to happen? I don't know, but we're seeing a little bit of a divergence starting to form here that is getting quite important. Number of names over the 50-day simple moving average in the S&Ps continues to make lower highs. there's just a lot of weakening that is happening under the surface here. And we are really being driven up right now just by the AI names. As I look at all of my groups to see, where are the setups outside of cyber security names like ZS, which has moved out of our clear base, and CrowdStrike, right? Setups like that, not really seeing a whole lot else. So there is an absence of new long opportunities here at this point in the market, which is something that we have to pay close attention to. Okay, so this is our askSlim level 3 and 4 Trade here in Meta, along with our logic. And when this low is due, that low is due 1010 to 1022. So pay close attention to this setup. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.